everybody, and welcome back to Weather for Weather Geeks on this Monday evening, a week into the month of February. We've already dealt with a major winter storm so far this month, but overall temperature-wise, it's been pretty manageable so far a week into February. We've had 4 warmer than average afternoons and 3 colder than average afternoons. Today was on the warm side. We got up to 41 this afternoon, which is about 5-6 degrees above average, and for the month so far, we're running a modest 1 degree cooler than average. We've had, of course, some pretty cold nights in the mix, but overall, compared to the pretty harsh January we had from time to time, so far, again, February has been fairly manageable, and I expect more of this kind of back and forth over the next week to even 2 weeks, and then maybe some real mild weather coming our way at the end of the month. We'll talk about the longer range coming up towards the end of the video. In the snow department, checking in on the seasonal totals. We're actually running a little ahead of schedule at the Youngstown Warren Airport, 2.1. Erie's still way behind. Cleveland's almost right at average. Akron about a dozen inches more than average. So as you can see, your mileage varies. Some of this depends on lake effect. Some of it depends on the whims of our bigger region-wide storm systems. But here locally, officially, a little ahead of schedule, and we're running just a little bit ahead of last year through today's date. This winter we've had 45.7 at the airport. Through today's date last year, the number was 44.7 inches of snow. All right, this is a high-resolution satellite picture of the region today. Now, all of this white over northeast Ohio and western PA, even western New York, this is all snow on the ground. We had a pretty cloud-free midday and afternoon today. Some clouds, again, a little hard to tell here, but some clouds were streaming in on the western side of Ohio this afternoon. But what I want to draw your attention to mostly is the ice on Lake Erie. We're at 70% ice coverage right now, and over the weekend, as often is the case, the ice moved around, and a lot of this ice moved away from the shoreline. And so, unfortunately, some rescues had to be undertaken over the weekend, with people trapped out on the ice because it started floating away from the shore. It's unsafe to be out there right now. This ice has been moving, will continue to move as we see those temperatures kind of go back and forth over the coming days. You're going to see the ice shifting around. So if you happen to find yourself up on the shores of Lake Erie, don't go out on the ice. All right, we have a cold front heading our way tonight. This front is not the strongest front in the world, but it is enough to produce a couple of flurries out across Michigan, northern Indiana right now, and actually there's a decent temperature change on the other side of this front. After a high of 41 today, we're at 34 as of 7:07, but Columbus already down to 26, Indianapolis down to 18, and so this little punch of cold air is coming our way. We'll notice the change tomorrow. We're not going to get above freezing in most spots tomorrow. Maybe in Columbiana County, we try to get above freezing for a time in the afternoon. I think the sun is going to come out before the afternoon is through. But a pretty cloudy morning. There might even be a few flurries around as Tuesday gets underway. Now, again, back and forth, because Wednesday is going to be a warmer day. This is our warm front that pushes through. Temperatures will rise Tuesday night, starting out in the low 20s, but by daybreak Wednesday, it'll be close to freezing. And yes, there could be a shower of rain or snow, especially towards lunchtime into the afternoon Wednesday. But most of the day pretty uneventful. Now, it's going to be just about as warm as today. Not as good-looking of a day, though. Today was fairly sunny. Wednesday will be fairly cloudy from start to finish. All right, we have another cold front approaching on Thursday. Now, we're not in the cold air mass just yet, and so Thursday we are on the seasonable side of things, probably in the middle and upper 30s. Some flurries around here and there. This should be of little consequence. We're not expecting many big impacts. And then another cold air mass is coming our way in time for the weekend. Speaking of the weekend forecast, I mentioned this on social media earlier. I heard from a few different people today, hey, what about this big storm I'm hearing about for Super Bowl weekend and Valentine's Day and things like that? And there's no data to suggest that whatsoever. I'm not sure where people are finding that. I think it was posted on some amateur Facebook pages and people picked up on it, but there's no big storm coming this weekend. What is coming this weekend? Big cold. This 29 Saturday is probably a morning high with temperatures falling in the afternoon, and then no higher than 21 on Super Bowl Sunday here. And then Valentine's Day also pretty cold coming up on Monday. Here's a look at a few of our models for the next 7 days showing snow totals under 3 inches. And yeah, we're going to get nickeled and dimed by the occasional flurries and snow showers and low impact stuff, but I'm not anticipating any sort of major winter system over the next week. Let's talk a little bit about the longer range of this evening. This is the current run, tonight's run of what we call the European weeklies, a set of model data we get twice a week, Mondays and Thursdays. It goes out 46 days into the future, and as you've heard me say many times on this video when I discuss these longer range models, you got to take them with a grain of salt, of course, but they are interesting to look at. And this is the temperature anomaly over the next 30 days or so on the European weeklies. Now, when you average together 30 days, you kind of miss out on the peaks and valleys that are contained within, but it'll all come out in the wash, according to the Euro, as pretty close to average. Again, a pretty back and forth pattern, I think, for the next 2 weeks. Now, that's the next 30 days averaged. The seasonal run of the European, and this is kind of a different product off the European model. It's issued on the 5th day of every month, and it breaks things down by month: February, March, and so forth. You can look at data for the next 6 or 7 months. Again, take it with a huge grain of salt once you get beyond the first month. Overall, though, this set of modeling does pretty well. There are some exceptions, but pretty well when it comes to its month 1 forecast. So when this comes out on the 5th day of the month, the idea it has for what is the current month usually is, it's pretty reasonable. And it would suggest that the southern U.S. and along the East Coast ends up warmer than average for February, cooler than average temperatures favored in the upper Midwest, and maybe down in parts of the Great Lakes, and then we come out somewhere in between. Now, that's, again, February as a whole, but there's a lot of peaks and valleys contained within that month, and we're going to see the occasional cold shot, certainly, but I want to draw your attention towards a strengthening signal towards the tail end of the month. And this is the European ensemble model tonight, but it has the support of a lot of other long-range modeling, has the support of some of the stuff that's going on out in the Pacific Ocean, even the Indian Ocean, and even it has the support of historical precedent. La Nina winters oftentimes end, in other words, February, oftentimes end with pretty mild weather. And while the next couple of weeks will have some mild days, but we're going to have a fair amount of cold days as well. This kind of a signal right around the 22nd, 23rd, 24th, we've seen this in late February in La Ninas before, and it actually goes along pretty well with some of the ideas with our winter forecast. Our winter forecast, we had the wrong idea in December. We called for a fast start to winter in December, not so much. But this idea of a warm February, or at least a mild February, was one of the key parts of our winter forecast. Now, the whole month is not going to shake out like that, but it looks like the last week of the month, confidence is increasing that we're going to finally bust out of these winter doldrums we've been in really since mid-January. We haven't seen the grass in a while. We're not going to see the grass for a little while. With the occasional warm-up, we're going to see our snowpack shrinking and compacting, but it's not going to completely go away, probably for at least a couple of weeks, I would think. But again, some good news if you're tired of all this. The last week of the month, say from about the 21st or 22nd through the end of February, is looking like a distinctly different pattern. Will that continue into March? I don't have much confidence on that answer right now. It's only the 7th day of February. Let's worry about what's in front of us for the next couple or a few weeks, but I did want to share some thoughts on what late February might hold. Thanks for watching tonight. Enjoy the rest of your Monday night, and I will see you right back here on Tuesday.